Matt, how much did the trust factor with Odet play into bringing him back for the season?
Well, I think obviously I know what Matt can bring, and I think he's a type of player that brings so much more than just what he can do on the ice, and it's one of the reasons that we've announced him as a player assistant coach. I think with the way the league's kind of gone in the economic times, a lot of those assistant coaching positions have been eliminated due to budgetary reasons, and for me, I really wanted to make sure we had somebody in here. We had somebody in here that could really help the young defenseman along. Obviously, there's fewer of those guys than there are forwards, and it kind of will give me an opportunity to put a little bit of that responsibility on a guy like Matt. But I think he's a tremendous coach. He's a tremendous leader. He's a guy that has been and played for a long time where a lot of these guys want to get, and I think that alone is going to give him that instant credibility with his peers. But the great thing is that we're adding a very good, hard-nosed, physical, tough defenseman that is, in my mind, one of the best penalty killers in the league and is really going to add a lot to our lineup. So it's going to be a little bit of a transition year for him and for me, obviously, with kind of adding him with that assistant coaching role. But I think it's going to be something that is very beneficial for everyone involved.
You mentioned all those roles in the East to each other. We're seeing crop up more and more, like Scott Burt in Alaska, like Marty Flickel in Idaho. With Matt Odet now entering that role, how does he help you as a head coach while also helping himself in honing his craft?
Well, I think it's a little bit of a different role in terms of an assistant coach that you might have saw last year with Tim O'Connell and Ryan Mujanel. Those guys were off the ice and away from the players and a lot of the different interactions. So, a guy like Matt's going to have to kind of juggle that responsibility and really be a good liaison between me and a lot of the players on a lot of different levels. But I think what's going to help him is his day is not going to end when practice and workouts are over. His day is just going to begin in the assistant coaching role. I think he'll do a lot of video preparation and analysis and certainly help some of the new younger players and all the players along with helping them, showing them some things that we as a coaching staff think they can work on. And then he'll also be involved in practice preparation. And I think a guy who's going to be involved in those practice will have a better understanding of kind of some of the things that I think we need to work on as a group. Sometimes as a coach, you sit back and you're not truly in tune with what's going on out on the ice and what players think they need to work on. So I think it's going to be a real added benefit from that standpoint. But he's going to get more of that introduction into what life as a professional hockey coach is all about, and those days of playing video games in the afternoon are probably over for him. It's going to be breaking down video now in the office. So I know he's looking forward to it. Obviously, you play the game for 13 professional seasons, you start to transition into what you think you might be able to do after your playing career is done, and I think he's just taking an active role in that.
What parts of his personality do you see that make a good foundation for him in having a successful coaching career down the road?
Well, I think more, never mind him, let's talk about me. I think his laid-back demeanor is actually going to be a welcomed addition for me. I think at times I'm easily wound up, so to speak, and I think a guy like Odet manages to keep those emotions in check, and can really, I think I can really benefit from his demeanor in a lot of ways. But the one thing is, he's a great one-on-one communicator. He's very good at getting a lot out of the people that he's around. He's always been a guy that's contributed a lot to our team's success last year and then in Fresno before that, in terms of building team chemistry and making sure that we're doing the right things to have the team in the right mind frame going into games, going into the season, going into the smallest thing as a period. So I think that ability for him to communicate on that one-on-one level is certainly going to be the first step, and I think what will make him a very successful and talented coach.
You have Odet signed, sealed, and delivered. You have Craig Vallette signed, sealed, and delivered. You have Kenny McCauley negotiating rights. When do you start thinking about who wears the C for the upcoming season?
Well, I think you're always kind of thinking about it. I don't think you ever really take too much stock until you get them here and you get them all in the same room and you start to see kind of who steps up to be that type of a guy. I think there's some easy choices. I like to make hard choices, and I think it's going to be an opportunity for maybe somebody who's a bit of a younger player that shows a little bit of that leadership role in there. But I certainly think all three guys you mentioned have worn letters before here. and in Fresno with Odet and McCauley. So those guys are obviously easy decisions. I want to make sure that they earn it and that they've got the right mind frame going into the season. But I'm not really going to worry about that until we probably get into opening weekend of the season.